Today I'm going to be taking you on a very quick trip to the hardware store to get everything we need to show you how to build your own blanket ladder. Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. I'm Ellie Lee with Ellie Lee Designs. Now, if you joined us last week, we made our very own chunky blanket, and this I thought would be a great addition to that project. And as always, all of the supplies that I used in this video are going to be listed in the description box below, so be sure to take a look at that, and I'll also be sure to include the measurements for my wood pieces. So without any further ado, let's get started. To begin this project, I headed over to my local Home Depot to buy the 2" by 2" furring strips that I needed for this project. If you don't have a way of cutting the wood pieces down to size at home, Home Depot will oftentimes cut them down for you if you just ask. With my pieces now cut down to size, I went to the hardware area to pick up my screws. I was recommended to go with drywall screws since I didn't need anything super heavy duty and I got a lot more for my money. For this project it worked out just fine, but always consider the end use of your piece when selecting your materials. And finally I picked up a can of Varathane wood stain in classic gray. Once I was home, I used my electric sander to smoothen out each wood piece and soften the edges by rounding them out. The inspiration for this blanket ladder came from one of my favorite DIYers from Do It On The Dime. Her Home Depot had furring strips with rounded edges, but since mine didn't, I just rounded them off really quickly with my sander. I'll be sure to link her video below along with the items I used in this tutorial. Whew, it is so hot. So remember to hydrate when you're outside. In case you're wondering why I'm wearing this mask, it's because I don't actually have a dust mask. So I am making do with what I have, but definitely I recommend that you wear some sort of mask just to make sure that you don't have, you're not breathing in all the sanding. All right, back at it. Now I have to and want to stress here the importance of safety. I wore my safety glasses and a face mask to keep from breathing in wood dust or getting anything in my eyes, but since I couldn't find my gloves, I went without them, and my friends, just wear your safety gloves. I got a nice piece of wood stuck in my finger that could have absolutely been avoided. Now I won't show you my finger since I'm not sure how YouTube or any of you would feel about seeing blood, but here's the culprit. Definitely small, but mighty. As you can see, I kept on going, propping my finger up in the air because I was stubborn and I didn't want to go to the store to get some gloves. But don't be stubborn and just be sure to keep it safe. Next, I used a small hammer and a pair of shears to create dents in my wood pieces so that it would have a more rustic look. I think it's safe to say that this might have been the most fun part of the project. It's a little hard to see here in the video, but I definitely got a lot of dings in the wood. I was even starting to think that maybe I had overdone it, but I just decided to go with the flow. I knew I'd find out soon enough once I started to stain it. Once that part was complete, I wiped down my wood pieces to remove the dust before staining. I began with the classic gray color stain I bought, but felt that the color was too light for the look that I was going for, so I decided to use the Rust-Oleum wood stain I had previously bought in the color weathered gray at Walmart instead. I had initially planned on applying the stain with a cloth and not a brush, but my wood lost that complete smooth texture after creating all of those dents, so I used the brush instead and let the full color seep into the wood. I also went back and added a little of the classic gray to see if it would lighten the darker gray, but once it dried, it didn't really make much of a difference, so I took another approach and I'll show you that next. I dry brushed some of my white Bear chalk paint onto my wood pieces to lighten them up a bit and also to give them more of a weathered and rustic look. Once my pieces dried and I got them inside, I used some of my apple barrel paint in the color Caramel Candy to give the weathered look even more dimension. I also used some of my Waverly chalk paint in the color Truffle to help blend the Caramel Candy in with the darker gray and white. Now it was time to put my ladder together, and for this 5-foot ladder I used 5 of the 17-inch wood pieces in total and separated them approximately 11.5 inches in between one another, with a 3-inch gap from the top and bottom part of the ladder. And once I had all my measurements marked up, it was time to use my drill. And I think this was actually the most fun part of the project. I used a drill bit to pre-drill my holes prior to using my drywall screws. This just made it so much easier to get my screws in without them getting stuck or possibly even cracking my wood pieces, so I do recommend that you do this first. I also opted not to countersink my screws because I actually wanted them to be visible to add to that rustic look I was going for, but that's completely optional. You can definitely cover your screws up with a little filler and sand them down to achieve a nice smooth look if that's more what you're looking for. Now if you made it this far, thank you for watching, and if you are finding value in this video, please show me some love by giving it a thumbs up and leaving me a comment below. This really helps my channel and helps me better understand the content you enjoy and value most. I'd also like to invite you to consider hitting that subscribe button and little notification bell to make sure you don't miss any of my weekly videos. So what do you guys think? I would absolutely love it if you leave a comment in the comment section below, because this helps me understand what kind of content you want to see and value most. I hope you enjoyed this project, and in case you missed last week's video, I would listed it right over here along with another one that I think you might enjoy. And until the next time, bye.